Hey, everybody.
Morning.
Hey, Chief.
How are
Morning.
you?
Good morning,
Correct.
Chief.
Hey, Chief.
Man, you're in your office today. That's even better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can recognize your office.
Yeah. Kind of unmistakable. I don't know how to do the cool background thing.
That's all right. So Danny, is Commissioner Cotham on the line yet? I mean, Maylin, sorry.
I do not see her yet. I will shoot her a quick email and make sure she has her link.
Okay, yeah, she texted me, so she may need the link.
Okay, no problem. I'll take care of that.
Give me one more second here. Facebook's being a bit troublesome this morning.
This is the most quiet Zoom call of my life. Good morning.
You had to go and talk, didn't you?
I had to. Good morning, Wayne.
We've
Good
got something,
morning.
Maylin, we've got something going on in our Q&A.
Yeah, we'll take care of that, Mayor. You can go ahead and welcome everybody because we do have attendees joining.
Okay, great.
And we might be just a little bit behind on Facebook, but we can go ahead and get started, and we'll take care of this.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Mayor Woody Washam, and we're going to wait just a moment to let the Facebook crowd pile on and be a part of this discussion. So please be patient just for another few minutes, maybe even seconds. It's okay, everybody. Brought your coffee. I know I brought mine, so I've got to get that down here shortly.
I haven't brought my Cornelius mug.
I bought my McDonald's.
Danny or Maylin, just let me know when you think we're ready on the Facebook crowd.
We should be good. We can share the link after we get started.
Okay, great. So good morning again, everybody. I started to say it's a beautiful fall morning, but I'm not seeing the sunshine quite as readily this morning as we have past few days, but it's still a great day in the neighborhood. And again, I'm Mayor Woody Washam, and we appreciate everybody's attendance today. We appreciate your interest in your town. And I think you're going to get some great information. We're featuring several of our staff, our town staff members, and we're also featuring our county commission today. We take different topics on different days of these events. And county commissioners, we're just delighted to have you today, and I'll introduce you more specifically later as the program moves forward. We typically have some preliminaries that we jump into early on, and I'm going to do that right now. We are fortunate every one of these sessions, as far as I can remember, to have my friend Gibbie Harris, the Mecklenburg County Medical Director. She does such a great job and has been through travel with us through many crazy times here in the last 20 months, maybe now. So Gibbie, you're here once more, and we hope there'll be a point in time that we don't have to talk about this. I don't think that's quite yet. So if you will please just give us an update on what's going on in the COVID world right now, and how we're progressing to get to the other side of it. That's what I'm looking forward to. Welcome. Glad to have you, Gibbie.
Good morning, Mayor, Commissioners. Thank you for having me again this morning. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to your community. We do have some relatively good news. Our numbers, our cases, our positivity rate, our hospitalizations have all decreased, not significantly, but we're starting to see a slight downward trend. We hope to continue to see that throughout October. We'll just have to wait and see. But as I mentioned, hospitalizations are down to 336 a day, which is a fairly significant decrease, at least over 100 less people in the hospital every day. Unfortunately, we're still seeing quite a few people on ventilators. So we do know that the virus is continuing to have an adverse effect on those who do become infected and require hospitalization. Unfortunately, our case rates are still in the red. So we know that we still have a lot of virus in our community, and it's important for us to all stay vigilant and continue to do the things that we know protect ourselves and protect people as we have virus in our community, so we can see those numbers continue to come down. One of the things that's been concerning to us is over the past 2 weeks, 30% of our cases have been in kids 17 and under. That's 30% of our total cases over the past 2 weeks. And 20% of those have been in children 0 to 11. So again, these are children that can't be vaccinated. And everything we're seeing these days demonstrates the importance of the vaccine and the impact that it's having on people, even though they may become infected with the Delta variant, which is the one that's still primary in our community. If they have the vaccine, they're less likely to become severely ill, require hospitalization. And most of our deaths continue to be among people who are unvaccinated. Again, 42% of our deaths are in those under the age of 60 now. Our elderly population are well vaccinated, and very few of the deaths, or many less of the deaths than we'd seen in the past, are among that population. Speak to our vaccination rates for just a second. For our total population, partially vaccinated is 60%. But if we look at those 12 and over, because obviously 12 and under 12 can't be vaccinated yet, our vaccination rate is up to 70%, which is good. Total vaccinations, 56% for total population, 65% for those over the age of 12. So again, a very good increase in the number of people being vaccinated, and we need to continue that. We've still got a lot of people who have not received that first vaccination yet. But as of last week, we started giving boosters as well to people that fell into the categories that CDC has defined. And those are for people who have received Pfizer only. They can receive a booster of Pfizer. It's the same medication, the same dosage, but it helps boost the antibodies that they have against this virus. And so we are recommending those that fall into those categories to come in for a booster. We did not see a huge rush last week. We saw a slight increase as we went through the week. So I think a lot of people are still learning about the boosters, understanding them, and making decisions about whether they want them or not. One last thing that I'll mention, because as you know, we still have a mask mandate in the county. There's a new study out by the CDC that shows that in K-12 schools that have not required masks this school year, they are 3.5 times more likely to have outbreaks than those schools that require masks. So again, vaccines work and the masks work, and those are what we're asking people to pay attention to right now. If you have not been vaccinated, please have conversations with the right people, look at the right information and the science, and make your decision. But please, regardless of whether you're vaccinated or not, when you're indoors, wear a mask. So I will stop there, Mayor, and happy to answer any questions that anyone might have.
Okay, great. You can ask questions in the chat box today, or you can email questions at townofcornelius@cornelius.org. townofcornelius@cornelius.org. So please ask questions as we go along with any aspects of the program, and we'll try our best to get to you. If we run out of time, then we will get back to you and make sure you've got those answers. So anyway, I do want you to elaborate just a little bit on the booster aspects and how important that is. I know a couple of us that I'm looking at on the screen here have gotten those now. Thank you, Mr. Duke, and myself and my wife. And it was kind of a non-event for me, and I certainly recommend that, and I assume you do as well.
Absolutely. So what the studies are showing is what we see with many vaccines is that the supportive effect of the vaccine wanes over time. So the antibodies start dropping a little bit, and what has been recommended by the FDA and the CDC is for those who fall in the ages of 65 and up, especially those that are in any type of facility or congregate living. Those under 65, if they have a chronic condition that puts them more at risk of severe illness or hospitalization, that they should consider a booster. And then we're back. If you remember early in the days of the vaccines, we were talking about essential workers. We're talking about them as well here with the booster. So people who work in medical situations or in our food chains, our teachers in our schools, those folks should consider a booster. I had mine last week. I did not have any side effects from it. And I think, we are definitely recommending it for those folks who are eligible at this point, and that eligibility is likely to expand as time goes on.
Perfect. Good deal. And let me ask you this regarding the Moderna. I know the ability to get the booster part of it is primarily Pfizer right now.
Yes.
So what about Moderna and J&J?
So the FDA, both of those have looked at their data and are packaging it in a way that they can provide it to the FDA so they can deliberate over that and make a decision. I believe that we will see fairly soon the ability to, at least for Moderna, to receive a booster. We'll see what happens with J&J. So I don't anticipate that it'll be long before the Moderna will be available. The other thing that CDC is looking at right now is the ability to mix and match. So it's, they're reviewing the possibility and the feasibility and the safety of somebody who received the Moderna getting a booster of Pfizer. That has not been approved yet, but they're evaluating that right now, and we may hear about that fairly soon as well.
Thank you. And Commissioner Miltig, I think you had a question.
Thank you, Mayor. I've asked this question before, but as time has gone by, you mentioned that 30% of your cases are pediatric, 0 to 12. Of those cases, how many progress into what you consider a serious course of the disease?
I don't have a specific percentage, but I do know that our hospitals have been seeing more children being admitted. As you saw last week, we've had a couple of deaths in our pediatric age group, which is 17 and under. This calendar year to date, one of them was recent. We do have children who have chronic underlying health conditions, which puts them more at risk. And they're the ones who are more likely to be hospitalized. But the other thing that we're starting to see is things that we don't think about as chronic conditions sometimes, is things like obesity or type 1 diabetes, those sorts of things. Those children are more at risk as well. So just like we see with our older population, is those children are more at risk for hospitalization. And as I said, our hospitals are seeing more children these days.
Great. Thank you so much. Anybody else on the screen, the commissioners, town commissioners, or anybody else have any questions for Gibbie Harris? Thank you, Gibbie. We appreciate your involvement with us again today. We'll probably see you next month. So
yeah, one of these days you're not going to need me to be here, and that'll be good.
Oh, I'm so appreciative for your involvement so far, and it's good to see you. That we hope you have a great day. And if you'll stick on for just a few minutes, there may be some questions to flow in. Again, if anybody in the audience has questions, you can submit those in the online chat, or you can send them to townofcornelius@cornelius.org. So please ask your questions when topics of interest come up. The next item on our agenda is a transportation update. We do this every meeting because your town board is very, very aware of the priorities of our citizens. There's two extremely high priorities noted out there in a recent survey that we did. One is public safety. The other one is transportation. And we want to talk to you about that every chance we get and give you an update on many, many, many good things that are going on, particularly in the transportation arena. Things are moving forward. And so we have our deputy town manager here today to give you that update. And we'll do this each and every time we get together. And again, if you have questions or want specifics, please ask your questions. So we have with us again, Town Deputy Manager Wayne Herron. So Wayne, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mayor. And I am going to attempt to share my screen here. And so the map that you see on the screen, and I use this map quite often, this shows 8 projects that we have scheduled with NCDOT within the next 4 years. I really emphasize that when I talk in any meeting, because outside of the city of Charlotte, most of the suburban communities, it's very rare that you have as many as 8 projects. This is going to change the way Cornelius functions and how we feel and what our capacity for congestion and traffic is going to be in the coming years. So let me jump into what some of these projects are, just to make sure if you haven't heard, you're aware. And always, I like to remind folks, our Mayor Pro Tem always says the best thing we can do is get these projects under construction as quickly as possible. When people see the construction, I think they'll know it and they'll feel it. Right now, they don't see the orange barrels and they're not sure these projects are coming. But we always want to remind people it's not development policies or practices, it's not lack of capacity. We have to handle, unfortunately, we can't put gates up in Cornelius and say folks from Mooresville, Huntersville, traffic. And that's why we have our partnership with NCDOT to try to help us do that. So the first project, Torrence Chapel at West Catawba, this is a 3 triple roundabout project. It will be done in 3 phases. You will only feel it when you're in the phase that you're closest to. And what I understand from DOT is roundabouts are much easier to install than standard road improvements. So I think they'll be able to keep traffic moving and keep pain at ease. But 2 of the 3 phases are shown on this map. The one to the left is at Liverpool down near the post office. The one to the right in front of Lake Norman Jeep Chrysler Dodge. And then the 3rd phase will be a roundabout up at Knox and Torrance with a total redo of Knox Road as we come around the new Chick-fil-A and the new Aldi and redoing the intersection down at 1 Norman. It's currently in right-of-way acquisition. They'll begin utility relocation next year and start this in 2023. It's about a 2-year completion. The other end of the diverging diamond also has a project, Catawba 21. They are also currently in right-of-way, looking to move utilities early next year and start construction in 2023. This is a 1-year project. Then we have a roundabout up at Potts in 115. Any of you who go to the YMCA know how difficult it is to get out there. We have a lot of traffic coming really from 3 main directions here. So this roundabout will be a major improvement, not only for moving traffic and congestion, but for safety. This is also slated for 2023. They're currently acquiring and almost complete with the right-of-way right now. North Cross Drive extension. Now this is one, when it's under construction, most folks will probably never see it because it's off the beaten path. And that's a good thing. But when it's complete, this will be a great north-south alternative to West Catawba and 21. This basically will have a roundabout at West Milan and Eagle Ridge Way, and will connect all the way down to Huntersville at 73, just to the east of Burkdale. Oop, a little too fast there. Bailey Road extension. If any of you are familiar, we have a really sharp curve in our existing Bailey Road. This will shoot it out straight across to 21, will improve that safety issue that we have in the curve. Right now, it's in right-of-way, utilities, and construction will be in 2023. Now, the biggie, West Catawba Phase 2. This project, you know, the longer we wait, the more expensive projects get. This one has ballooned to about a $50 million project, but DOT is on top of it, and they are committed to delivering this. Right-of-way is currently funded. They intend to start utility relocations in the next year. Current construction date is 2025, but what we've been advised as on all these projects is once right-of-way and utilities get to a certain point, they want to move construction up if the funds are there. So we're very lucky that every project I've shown you so far, the funding is there. So we're very hopeful that this construction can move up 2024, maybe even 2023. And this is a very important project on the west side, expanding the capacity from right around 20,000 vehicles per day up to 50,000 vehicles per day. Another safety improvement, having a signal at the intersection of Hickory and 115, currently in design. Right-of-way and utilities will be next year, construction in 2023. So as you can see, the first 5 projects I've shown you all start or have already started right-of-way, and we could just see major changes in our congestion and our traffic in the next 3 to 4 years. US 21 widening, this one has been moved out to 2031, but we are continuing to work with DOT. Sometimes a development project can help us move a road project along. We're very fortunate that Atrium is building a new medical center here in Cornelius, and we believe that will help us move the Highway 21 widening up on the list. So we're very excited about that. Highway 73, while this just barely touches Cornelius on our south end, probably in 2 different locations, we're very excited for the 73 improvements. A lot of our citizens use 73. Construction dates are 2027 to 2029. We understand this one can move up as well. The I-77 shoulder hardening, this will add some capacity in between exits starting in 23. And the last thing I'll say before I answer questions or jump off, Mayor, is that I've had several folks ask me in the last week, oh, my friend says that these improvements are going to be nightmares. This is going to be terrible with everything that's coming in Cornelius in the next 3 to 4 years. I want to just say, I think calling it a nightmare is kind of looking at the cup half empty. I like to look at it half full. We have so much to look forward to. We all know there's a little pain with construction, but when you look at these 5 projects and the positive that they bring to us, I think we can all bear with a little construction. Now, certainly the diverging diamond created its own issues, but we're not going to have those same issues as we look at these construction projects that I just mentioned to you. We do things such as requesting night work. Much of these projects have improvements that are off of the beaten path. The current procedure for us working with private development, we require traffic impact analysis. So developments are required to provide interim measures that as these projects are being constructed, they do things in the interim that make it easy for traffic to come and go. We also look to phase development. If we need to phase it as road projects are being built, we certainly can do that. We work with DOT to phase these projects. So it's our goal to limit any kind of pain. But I think the excitement for the construction and what these projects will bring clearly outweigh and clearly are more of a positive than any interim construction issues we might have. Those are things we'll work through, and we appreciate the partnership not only with DOT, but the public. The public often will give us ideas of alternative ways to get around a project, or alternative ways to phase a project. So we all work together, and we're excited about the positives to come, adding to our capacity and our safety and our network moving forward. So I'll stop there, Mayor, and see if there's any questions.
So Wayne, as you know, the intent of myself and our town board was that the major projects that were approved on that West Catawba corridor, i.e., I think there were some apartments and also on out Alexander Farms. So what you're saying is that those will coordinate well with the construction. How's that going to work when those little more major projects take hold and start to rise?
And those are some very key projects that you bring up, and we appreciate that question. Yes, there's different phases that we work with each developer. One is we try to push those projects to start either after construction on the road project has begun or not start until the road project is completed. But those projects in their TIAs, their traffic impact analysis, they have 2 different phases of what they have to do for these projects. They have road improvements they have to do in the interim if they are to start while construction is going on, which will minimize any pain the public feels. Those mitigation measures may be no left turns out of their development, adding turn lanes, all things that might be temporary. It also might mean phasing. They might only get 10 units to start with in the first year and get 10 units the next year, and then maybe the balance after the project is completed. So those are all things that we work together on to minimize any impacts these projects might have in the near future and push them out for the majority of that project being after these roads are completed.
So talk about the capacity of West Catawba. Weren't these projects actually approved with the great sense that the road will have plenty of capacity to handle those as time progresses? Isn't that the way it's was presented to us?
Most definitely. When the road is widened, we will have 50,000 vehicle per day capacity. That is more than double what we have now. That is more capacity than any of us will never fill that up, not in our lifetime. So it's tremendous that we're going to have that type of capacity, that type of congestion management, safety, and time savings once that road's done. So all the projects that we hear folks talking about now, such as Junker, Alexander, Sefton, there will be more than enough capacity for those projects, and even more should the town consider adding to the tax base or adding to the quality of life for different restaurants or uses that citizens desire. So we certainly are going to have plenty of capacity with these new projects. It'll just make it safer. We'll be able to get around much easier. The one thing that I'll point out is things are usually only a little tight or a little slow during peak periods. The rest of the day, we get around fine. So this added capacity is just going to make the peak periods all the more pleasant, easy to get around, and just a great way of quality of life here in Cornelius. So if we can get through the construction, and we're doing everything we can to make that as pleasant as possible, it's going to be a great day in Cornelius with 50,000 vehicles per day on West Catawba. The ability to do that.
Yeah, I want you to talk just briefly. We don't have much time, but just briefly about our downtown area. And,
Oh, yes.
And how the relief is coming there as well. So as many know, there's some new building and projects there that have been instigated by the onset of the Kane Center, which is the purpose that the Kane Center was approved in the first place to develop our downtown.
The Kane Center is probably the greatest catalyst project any downtown could have. We're so excited for what it is bringing to our town center. I mentioned a couple of projects that we're working with DOT, with the Hickory Street signal to have a safety improvement. But with the coming of Old Mecklenburg Brewery, they are going to be constructing a connector road from town center to South Street in Davidson, which will provide an alternative that will give traffic an alternative from 115. That will improve traffic congestion and offer time savings, and will be a major improvement that we appreciate Old Mecklenburg and their partners bringing to us. We're also excited working toward an extension of Zion from town center down to Bailey Road. We believe that will add additional relief. That's an exciting project as well. So these are all things that we're working toward to bring relief and to make our downtown greater, as we have the Kane Center and several other uses that are coming in with upscale restaurants and commercial that will just make our downtown a lively place.
Great news, Wayne. Thank you so much. And we've got one more of a comment through our Q&A here on chat. It says, there's a great presentation updating our local transportation that you've just provided, Wayne. Is there a way to continue to share this with us in order to properly advise our neighbors and friends of the positive changes coming to our community?
The answer to that is yes. Maylin, we will certainly work with her. Much of this is on our website, and you can go to corneliustransportation.org, or if you'd like to just email me, I can send you this presentation and would be glad to attend any neighborhood meeting and bring it and come do a road show and talk about it. But again, we'd be glad to provide that. Just email me or let Maylin know, and we'll get all that information out.
Lot of good news about our transportation, and thanks for the work that many of our commissioners have done in all aspects, but particularly to Commissioner Miltic for all his hard work with the CRTPO. He serves as chairman. I think most of you know that's been absolutely wonderful for our community, for him to be sitting in that seat and representing our town. So thank you, Mike, for your hard work. And
there's so much more coming to the whole region that people are going to be amazed.
Yeah, keep fighting for us, buddy. We appreciate it. Okay, I need to move on time-wise, and we're going to get our county folks up and on screen here. So I want to welcome the commissioners from Mecklenburg County. We have, first of all, the County Commission Chairman, George Dunlap. George, it's great to see you again, sir. So make sure you take yourselves off of mute here. So there you go. And also the District 1 Representative, Elaine Powell, thank you for being here. We have at-large Commissioners Leigh Altman and at-large Commissioner Pat Cotham with us. And also want to welcome, I think there's several other commissioners that have joined. I know that Laura Meyer was going to, and I know you're not on the link, Laura, because of our public meetings laws, but we appreciate all the work and support. County, you have been wonderful to Cornelius, and we greatly, greatly appreciate the hard work that you have worked on our behalf I want to thank especially Commissioner Thurman Ross. I think Thurman's on the line today. He is our liaison from our town to the county commission. And Thurman, you've done a stellar job. The county has stepped up in many, many ways in working with us with our parks, our greenways, helping fund those, helping keep them up. And there's more to come, right, Elaine Powell? I know there's more to come. And also, during this little welcome session, I want to sincerely thank you again for your support for the Kane Center of the Arts. It is coming out of the ground. You guys did good. You helped us make a last leap so we could get under construction, and it is under construction. If you ride through our downtown Cornelius area today, our Old Town area, you will see it coming out of the ground. So as time goes by, you'll start seeing some steel beyond the fence, and it's a proud day for us in Cornelius to see that happening. And great things are coming to our downtown. The as we talked earlier, the redevelopment that this was intended to create downtown is certainly on the way. So you folks were a part of that, and we appreciated it. And I'm going to start with Chairman Dunlap. If you will, you got a few things you'd like to say to this group. I've got some questions we can refer to you as we go along, but I'll give you a chance to say whatever you'd like to the town of Cornelius today. Welcome, sir.
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you for the invite. Thank you for welcoming us as well. Over the years, we've developed a good relationship, I believe, with the town of Cornelius, and have tried real hard to open up doors and avenues that probably hadn't been opened historically. And so I think that has been a good thing. I look forward to us continuing to do that in the future. When I go to districts, I typically try to yield to the district rep. I will tell you that Elaine has been an asset to the board. She has worked well with her colleagues, and she has worked hard on behalf of the town of Cornelius. You guys sent me a few questions, and before I could get my questions answered, I realized Elaine had beat me to the punch. So I'm gonna yield to Elaine to answer some of those questions, but I think there are probably some that simply because of the length of time that I've been on the county commission that I could probably add to it that the residents of the town of Cornelius would be interested in hearing. So thank you.
That is super duper. So Elaine, you don't have to answer all the questions right now. If you want to just say some introductory things, we're just so glad to have you, and thank you for being here today.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me. I am the District 1 Commissioner, so I represent Huntersville, Davidson, Cornelius, and all of North Charlotte, from Cabarrus County up to Iredell County over to the Catawba River. And I am happy to be here. I love Cornelius. I was just at an event in Jeton Park, and I have to tell you, I love the respect that people have for first responders in Cornelius. It's one of the few places that I've been in a long time where everybody pulls over and respects the first responders and lets them get by. And it's just nice to see, like, that's how it's supposed to be. And every time I'm there, I think, wow, it's really a lot of respect for first responders. So thank you for inviting us and me, and I am ready for your questions. Thank you.
All right. Yes, ma'am. Next in line is Commissioner Leock.
Well, good morning, and thank you so much, Mayor, and good to see all of you. Thank you for having us. I want to just take this opportunity, for those who don't know me, just to say briefly, I'm a public interest lawyer by training. I worked 17 years in that arena. I'm the mom of CMS students, and this is my first term on the county commission. I want to tell you how excited we were to support the Kane Center. I came out and met with the mayor and his staff and walked the site, and it's going to be a tremendous asset, not only for Cornelius, but for the entire region. And I, for one, cannot wait to come when the lights go on. And last, just as a preliminary remark, I would like to say what an incredible representative you have in Commissioner Powell. She is so devoted to North Mecklenburg. She's such a great listener. And I just know firsthand, watching her day in and day out, be a very, very impassioned and rigorous representative for all of your residents. So thanks again for the opportunity this morning.
Thank you so much, Leigh. And last but not least, by any means, is our friend Pat Cotham. Pat, you've been our friend for a long time, and we certainly do appreciate you. So, so I'll turn the mic over to you.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. I am excited to be here, and I just love Cornelius. When I get off at exit 28, I feel like I'm home. I know people all over the town, and I've been representing North Mecklenburg and the whole county since 2012. And I met all of you under very difficult circumstances. And that was in 2012, 2013, with the problems we had with the revaluation. But that's where I forged great relationships and saw the community come together to try to get that resolved. And you were a great partner, and we worked hard on the board then to really get that revaluation right. And a lot of people got their money back that we had overcharged them. And it was all about rebuilding trust. And I spent a lot of time up there and on a lot. I don't think we didn't do Zoom meetings. We had real meetings then, but it was great. And some of those relationships, I still hear from so many of those people. But Cornelius is at a wonderful place, and I'm excited about the Kane Center. I remember when the Kane Center was just a glimmer in the eye of the mayor several years back. And we worked on some early committees as an idea about this, and it has come to fruition. And I was so proud to talk about it at the County Commission and the history of it. But it's going to be a great economic development for the region. And you're going to draw from multiple counties to that, and it's going to be so exciting. And I can't wait. When we had the groundbreaking, that was spectacular. And when we open it up, it's going to be phenomenal, and it'll be great education for the children. So again, thank you very much for inviting me, and I'm very proud to be here and very proud to serve you.
Well, you don't have many unanimous votes on the county commission, but one of those unanimous votes is when you voted to make a very sizable donation to support the Kane Center. And I'll never forget that, and always be grateful to you for that. So anything else you'd like to add before we do go into a few questions? And my town commissioners that are on the Zoom call today include just about everybody. I see Commissioner Jim Duke out there, Commissioner Mike Miltick, Commissioner Dennis Bilodeau, Commissioner Tricia Sisson, I believe, has joined us, and certainly, and last but not least, Commissioner Thurman Ross. This is such a great board, and I am so proud of my town board up here, and hope to see them back next year. So anyway, we'll move on to talk about any major developments underway for Mecklenburg County as it relates to county parks. Elaine Powell.
Yes, sir. So most everything is related to greenways. And I have a long history of advocating for Parks and Rec. It is, when we do citizen surveys, it is the number one thing that we hear as something that the residents would like to see: natural surface trails and greenways. And so three of the big things that we're looking for, the major developments, are Greenway related. We have Plum Creek Greenway, which was recently completed, which links the multi-use path along Bailey Road to the South Prong Rocky River Greenway and to Davidson's Plum Creek Park. Right now, as I think most of us were together on the groundbreaking, your town of Cornelius is completing the construction of the next phase of McDowell Creek Greenway from Westmoreland Road to Catawba Avenue. Mecklenburg County has partnered with you on this through the great leadership of Troy Fitzsimmons, who I see his name here. I don't see him, but you have a fantastic Park and Rec director, someone who's really dedicated to the profession and to the best for Cornelius. The county will partner when this is completed, and we will provide signs, wayfinding, and oversee maintenance and the daily operations of the trail when it is completed. The third Greenway update, right now, Caldwell Station Tributary Greenway is completing design. We will begin construction in early 2022. This 1 mile Greenway will link the existing Caldwell Station Creek Greenway with the new North Region Recreation Center, which I know everyone is excited about that. And so an update on the construction for the North Region Rec Center is it is scheduled for completion in November 2021. And sometimes we're optimistic that will happen, but sometimes it doesn't. And so we're hoping for November 2021. We're planning an opening for February or March of next year. And that is pending the completion of the project and onboarding all of the staff that we have to onboard for this rec center. Some of the things that we have at the rec center that I know that the community will be excited about, because the community had major input on what is at this recreation center. We will have a senior center in the rec center, a leisure and lap pool, an indoor track, a double gymnasium, and multiple classrooms. This was important to the community when we did the resident feedback prior to me being elected. People were real interested in having space for classes and community meetings. And so we have dedicated that. The difference, the only difference between this rec center and other rec centers, as far as programming, will be, everything will be the same inside, but there will be an exclusion of outdoor sports. We won't have the same offerings outdoors. And that completes my update for the park question.
Great, thank you. That's a great update and exciting.
Very exciting.
A lot of people went through so much work and advocacy for the new rec center, and to see it coming out of the ground right here in Cornelius to serve all of North Mecklenburg is truly a wonderful day. So we look forward to those lights coming on February and March. So we're totally excited about that. And thanks for your nice words about Troy Fitzsimmons. He's a real jewel to our town. I know you know that, Elaine, and but we know that too. So thank you very much for those comments. One of the things I want to make sure we get to is any comments you may have related to affordable housing. And I'll throw this question out to any of the county commissioners that would like to comment. Affordable housing is something that we are actually trying very, very hard to make some progress on, and we are making progress. Mr. Herron heads that up. Anything specific, Wayne, you would like to ask our county commissioner friends here?
Well, I think just a statement that the mayor's committee is working hard. We are trying to put together before Christmas a short-term recommendation document for the commission, our town commissioners to consider. And part of that would be the formation of a CDC or some kind of fiduciary agency that can serve not only Cornelius, but maybe North Meg. But we have other priorities such as rental assistance, down payment assistance, anything that we can do in the short term. But we're also looking at long-term support for such things as the Smithville neighborhood. But we want to make sure whatever we do is in line with county priorities. We need you, we need your support, and we want to make sure that we have your trust. And know that we're doing the right thing. So I throw that out there that that's what we're doing. And just any comments or any suggestions you have for us moving forward with our short-term recommendations at this point.
Well, I'll respond to that, but I noticed that Mike had his hands up after the last presentation. So I want to give him an opportunity to share first.
Sure, Mike.
I was going to tie into Elaine's report on greenways. There's many of our citizens have asked about a connector over 77 and over 21 at Westmoreland. And I know there's a project before the county that goes multi-use path from JV Wash and back over those roads to the North McDowell Creek Greenway. Do you know what the status of that approval is, Elaine?
I do not, but I can get that information to you.
Yeah, crossing over that bridge is taking your life in your own hands.
Yes.
Dr. Mike, hey, this is Troy. Sorry, my
Troy.
camera's a bit problematic to work with it in its docking station, but that's something that the town is currently working on right now. It's part of the Smithville to JD Washam Greenway and Westmoreland multi-use path. As most of you all know on the call, although the public probably does not, many of the state-funded projects were put on hold for a period of time. They just recently reauthorized it, and we did just receive right-of-way authorization to restart the land acquisition process. So we're trying to get that ramped back up now.
Thank you.
Right.
You're welcome.
So back to affordable housing, Pat.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to really, I mean, you talked about affordable housing, but to me, you are a leader in it among the towns, because a lot of times leaders in towns say, oh, we're for affordable housing, but then they make a lot of restrictions on development, and they talk about traffic, and they make things, well, it has to be all brick, and it has to be, and so then all those things add dollars to the development, which makes it very impossible for it to be affordable housing. But you all have really done a great job of really putting your cards on the table that you really want to have affordable housing for workers, for senior citizens, for people who are uniquely abled, as opposed to saying disabled, in your community. And I really salute you for that, because I've seen the other side where they say one thing and then they do another, which makes it impossible. But you've all been really focused on that, and in the best way. So I really am proud of all the work you've done on affordable housing, and also on public transportation. I mean, I remember years ago when we were talking about, when we were dealing with the toll road and traffic, and you talked so much about the CATS buses coming up, and even the things I remember you talked about how you wanted to have places for people to sit waiting for the bus, which, that really told me a lot about you, and you wanted to have a nice place. And so you have gone the extra mile, and I salute you for that. That concludes my comments.
Thank you, Pat. And Chairman George, I think you were taking off on us here.
Yeah, I wanted to share a little bit about affordable housing, because I think, the word affordable housing takes on a lot of different other terminologies. In the northern towns, we've been talking a lot about workforce housing, being able to allow the people who work in the community to live in the community. And so we appreciate any effort that you can make on behalf of those residents as well. And of course, with the dollars that we've received from COVID and our CARES Act funding, dollars are being made available for rental subsidies and just helping people maintain their residence if they're in trouble of losing them. But I think this notion of affordable housing goes even further than that, because there are a lot of things that Mecklenburg County is doing and has done related to affordable housing that people tend to forget. For example, when Mecklenburg County sells property to developers and people who want to develop land, and particularly those who want to develop housing, we require that a certain percentage of that development be affordable housing because Mecklenburg County sells them the land. In addition to that, when we come across homes that have been foreclosed or that the county has had to, or came into possession of, should I say, because of not paying taxes, we make those housing units available to nonprofit organizations who will then turn them back to people who are looking for affordable housing. So there are a number of other things that we're doing as it relates to affordable housing. You mentioned Smithfield, and Smithfield has been mentioned as a place where you might want to locate affordable housing. And I think Mecklenburg County supported the development of a plan, and we're still waiting for information to come back to us before we make a decision as to what we're going to support or not support. I think the concern is that, you know, there's a lot of talk about Smithfield, but the conversation needs to be had with the residents or the owners of the property in Smithfield, because the county is not going to invest in something that is not going to be beneficial or desired by the residents. And so I think more effort need to be made to see, first of all, if the residents are interested in selling or having their property developed. And I think Mecklenburg County would be more than happy to come to the table to assist in that kind of development if it is in fact something that is supported by the residents of that community.
Good comments, George, and we totally agree. And I think Commissioner Altman.
Yes, sir. I'm not sure. Does this wrap up at 9:30?
Well, it's past a couple of minutes.
Okay, so let me just hit a couple things real fast, if I may. On the subject of affordable housing, I want everyone to know that we have our ongoing homes program, which provides assistance to homeowners with their tax bill. You can go on our website and get essentially like a refund for part of your taxes if you qualify. So please keep that in mind and reach out to me if you need that information. Just, you know, the broad subject of what else the county is focused on and working on. I do want to bring forward that this board has adopted workforce development as one of our core priorities, which is something that I was really, really pushing. I think that we have so many employers that have acute labor needs and they don't have a workforce to fill their labor needs. And then we have a lot of residents that are either unemployed or underemployed. They're not making family sustaining wages. And that the county has a really important role that we can play in connecting these people. And so I'm thrilled that this is going to be a priority of ours and we have those plans underway. I want to note that we, on the subject of mental health, which I know is a priority for everybody, we are transitioning to a realignment with Alliance Health. And I think that has tremendous potential to better meet the needs of our residents who have the most complex behavioral health issues. And it's not too late to sign up to speak before our board tomorrow. If you sign up before noon to let us know how you think we should be spending the $215 million that we've gotten in federal COVID relief dollars. I think it would be wonderful to hear from the residents of Cornelius. So please do sign up to speak, and thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Commissioner. And, you know, I do want to say that we're on our way in so many aspects, wrapping back up with affordable housing. My town board has been fantastic in supporting me in all these conversations. And again, you know, I need a good board to see this through. Not getting political, but I just really got to have a good board to see this through in terms of making this affordable housing issue come to life. You know, 85% of the people that work in Cornelius do not live here. And the main reason is they can't afford to live here. And that's just not right. So it's all about all the people that Pat Cotham described earlier, but it's also about our town employees. It's about our policemen. It's about our teachers. It's about our firemen, and the list goes on and on. We're providing assistance to many people now just so they can live in Cornelius on our town staff, and we're doing what we can, but we have got to do better. So, so this board is with me, and I'm totally grateful for that. Wayne, do you have anything to add as we wrap up this topic?
No, Mayor, I think you hit the nail on the head. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. So talk briefly about, go ahead, Elaine.
Just wanted to add this because as we're building our affordable housing comprehensive strategy, we have such a focus on different things, rental subsidies, but I want everyone to know that we also have dedicated dollars to rapid rehousing for victims of domestic violence, so that they have a way out and they don't have to go back to the home where the violence has occurred. And I think that that falls into the category, a very important category of affordable housing. And I wanted to mention that. It was very important to Commissioner Bentley back when she was District 1 Commissioner, and we have made it come true during my terms. So I think that's important for the whole community to know, because domestic violence happens everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you. And it is real in our community. We do know that. So I want you to talk just very briefly about schools. In whatever aspects you'd like to make a comment. We've got some overcrowding going on in our schools here in Cornelius. We blame Huntersville for that, we do. But anyway, nevertheless, we do have some overcrowding, but we're also, and we have good schools. We have 4 schools in our little town, which is wonderful. There's a lot of debate around the quality of education the kids are getting, and particularly overcrowding as it relates to this community. What would you say about that, Chairman Dunlap?
Oh, man.
Looking at you, sir.
Well, I usually don't mince my words, but let me just say this. I have been concerned about education in Mecklenburg County my entire political career. In fact, I got started in my political career as a member of the school board, where I served nearly 14 years. And I got started because I was an advocate for my son whose needs were not being met. Since that time, I think CMS has had its highs and it's had its lows. I think now is probably one of the lowest times that I've seen in my day. It's almost as if though they can't get a break. And so I don't want to pile on. There are enough issues as they are. I've come to the conclusion that while I may have a particular desire for education in Mecklenburg County and what ought to be happen, I've decided that I'm going to let the community speak for itself rather than speak on their behalf. It was always interesting that when I spoke out, people were like, you shouldn't say that, you shouldn't say that. But now that people are beginning to see the things that I spoke out about, you're hearing all this concern about what's going on with CMS. And so I am going to let that speak for itself. I will tell you that we are still trying to develop a relationship where our students will be the beneficiaries. I will tell you that I am not just only concerned about the students of CMS, but of every student who lives in Mecklenburg County, which includes our charter and our private school. Their parents are also tax-paying citizens. And so we have an obligation to support them as well. And when there's an opportunity for Mecklenburg County commissioners to support those efforts, then I hope we will be just as supportive of those residents' children as we are the children of CMS. I will tell you that I'm encouraged by the fact that I think the board is beginning to focus on the real issues related to how children get a good education. That is something that I hadn't seen before. So I'm encouraged by that. But I will be lying if I didn't tell you that I was concerned about, if I wasn't concerned about the fact that for 3 years continuously now, the scores of the students from CMS have gone in reverse. And we have to work real hard to reverse that trend. And while the board is working hard to change that, it might be some time before we see the results of the efforts that the board is putting into place right now. So, you know, I usually shoot pretty straight from the hip, and that's my concern about CMS.
Okay, thank you. That was certainly straight from the hip, George, and thank you very much for that. I'm going to go to very quickly to Commissioner Thurman Ross. Thurman, as I said earlier, has done a stellar job in communicating with many of you, plus some other colleagues with whom he has relationships. Thurman, you have anything to add or ask our county commissioners today? Well, Thurman must be happy with you. I don't hear him out there, so, but you know you'll hear from him. So anyway, thank you all once more. We have some other questions we could clear up, but we're really at our final moment here. So other town commissioners, do you have anything you would like to run by Commissioner Miltick, Commissioner Duke, Commissioner Bilodeau, Mr. Sisson, anything you would like to add? Or there comes Commissioner Ross back. What would you like to say to this group of county commissioners, Thurman?
Well, first of all, I want to thank them for all the support they have given the town of Cornelius, and I hope we continue to build a relationship working together. They have helped us out tremendously, and we do not take it for granted.
Well put. Absolutely well put. Any other commissioners have any comments?
I was just going to echo the same thing. I would not desire your job. I have a hard time just managing my little municipality. So thank you so much for everything you do on behalf of our town and all the towns in Mecklenburg County.
And Mr. Duke, Commissioner Duke. And you're on mute, Jim. Need to get you unmuted, Jim. Still got you on mute there.
There it is. Thank you. I'm a little fuzzy. I don't know why I'm fuzzy on the screen, but I just wanted to comment. It's so good to hear straight talk from Commissioner Dunlap. I think he's rock solid and he's on, and I really appreciate all the help he can give us with our issues here in Cornelius.
Thank you, sir. Any other of our commissioners like to say something?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I would like to also thank and really appreciate all the efforts that the county commissioners do to support our town. Especially want to recognize Commissioner Cotham and all the time that she spent personally up here. You know, as she said, certainly a friend of Cornelius, and she's certainly welcome and at home here. But also Commissioner Powell, we go back more than a few years with park connections on the commission. I remember meetings there in Charlotte where we first talked about the rec center and all the good things that were happening with Greenway. So thank you to all and appreciate the support for Cornelius.
Thank you. Anybody else out there?
At the risk of piling on, Mayor, just want to thank all of our county commissioners for all of their support. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you guys taking the time this morning to come and talk to our citizens too. I think that's really important. And the comments that we're seeing in the chat are just very informative, and thank you very much for coming out. So we really appreciate it. And Pat, your daughter has a fantastic name. Very good job.
That's great. Great. Well, thanks again, everybody, for being out there and participating with us today, whether you're one of our speakers or just care about your town. This board cares deeply about the town of Cornelius. They've worked hard for it. My town board has, the county board has as well. And we just greatly appreciate that. I will remind you of one upcoming event, and that is National Night Out is tomorrow at Bailey Road Park. So Bailey Road Park, I believe that begins at 6 p.m. out at Bailey Road Park. And it's a way of providing a thank you to our police department and our public safety officials. So tomorrow night at Bailey Road Park, I hope you'll all come out and show your appreciation for the great work that goes on there. So with that, Town Manager, do you have anything to add?
Just to say ditto to what my board has said to the county commissioners here. And just want to say thank you for your county manager working with us. Dina has been wonderful to work with us as well. So thank you.
Great session this morning. Thanks again. And y'all have a good day. We will see you around town. Bye now.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.